Dr. Taewon Park wiped sweat from his forehead as he stared at the glowing blue sphere contained within the reinforced chamber. The light pulsed rhythmically, casting eerie shadows across the underground laboratory hidden beneath Antarctica's icy surface. "It's stabilizing," he whispered, hardly believing the readings on his monitor. Energy output increasing by 400% and still climbing. Beside him, Director Ji-young Kim watched with narrowed eyes. She had overseen Project Prometheus for 5 years, but even she couldn't hide her amazement at what they had achieved. "Can we contain it?" she asked. Taewon nodded. "The quantum field is holding. We're generating enough power to run a small country from something the size of a basketball." The discovery had been accidental. While researching alternative energy sources, Taewon's team had found a way to manipulate subatomic particles that defied known physics. The technology created clean energy in amounts previously thought impossible. Ji-young tapped her security badge against a scanner, opening the heavy blast doors that led to the command center. Inside, 20 scientists and military personnel monitored various aspects of the experiment. The facility, buried 300 meters beneath the ice, was one of Earth's most closely guarded secrets. "The United Nations Security Council is requesting another progress report," said Colonel Jae-ho Park, the military liaison. "Chinese and Russian representatives are getting impatient." "Tell them we're still in the theoretical stage," Ji-young replied. "No one outside this room knows what we've actually achieved." Taewon frowned. Keeping this secret seems wrong. This technology could solve Earth's energy crisis overnight. "And start a war just as quickly," Jae-ho countered. "Every nation would kill to control this power." Their conversation was interrupted by a young researcher who rushed into the room, her face pale. "Director Kim, we've detected an object in orbit. It appeared suddenly and doesn't match any known satellite signature." The room fell silent. Ji-young moved quickly to the main display, bringing up the orbital tracking system. "How did it penetrate our detection grid?" she demanded. "Unknown. It's using technology we can't identify." Taewon felt a chill that had nothing to do with their Antarctic location. "Are you suggesting it's not from Earth?" No one answered immediately. The possibility had been discussed in theoretical terms, but facing it as reality was another matter entirely. "The object is scanning the surface," the researcher continued. "Focused particularly on energy signatures." Ji-young's decision was immediate. "Activate the dampening field. Shut down all non-essential systems. We can't let them detect what we're doing here." As the facility powered down around them, Taewon kept his eyes on the glowing sphere. They had reduced its visibility, but anyone looking closely enough might still notice something unusual. 3 days passed in tense silence. The object remained in orbit, systematically scanning Earth's surface. Then, without warning, it was joined by a much larger vessel. "They're communicating with every major government simultaneously," Jae-ho reported, listening to updates through his earpiece. "They call themselves the Galactic Consortium. They claim to be here on a diplomatic mission to welcome humanity to the interstellar community." "Convenient timing," Ji-young muttered. "Just as we discover this technology." That evening, a secure video call connected the facility with the emergency session of the UN Security Council. The world leaders looked shaken. "The aliens have requested permission to send representatives to Earth," the Secretary General explained. "They say this is standard procedure when contacting new spacefaring species." "But we're not spacefaring," Taewon pointed out. An American general cleared his throat. "That's the concerning part. They insist our recent technological advances have qualified us for contact. They specifically mentioned unusual energy signatures coming from Antarctica." Ji-young and Taewon exchanged worried glances. "What do they want?" Ji-young asked. "They claim to offer knowledge exchange and trade. But their representatives asked pointed questions about our power sources and weapons capabilities." The Chinese president spoke up. "We believe they may be here to assess if we represent a potential threat." As the meeting continued, Taewon slipped away to check on the containment sphere. The blue light pulsed stronger than ever, humanity's greatest discovery and possibly its greatest danger. In his office, he found a small metallic object that hadn't been there before. It floated slightly above his desk, emitting a soft hum. As he approached, it projected an image of the energy sphere, along with complex equations that explained exactly how it worked. Someone or something already knew their secret. The United Nations Assembly Hall had never been so crowded. Representatives from every nation stood shoulder to shoulder, their faces showing a mix of wonder and fear. At the center of the room, the 7-foot-tall alien diplomat known as Quolt addressed the gathered humans. His blue-gray skin shimmered under the lights, and his four eyes blinked in an unsettling rhythm. "The Galactic Consortium welcomes Earth to the interstellar community," Quolt said through his translation device. "We have watched your development with great interest." Ambassador He-Jin Cho stepped forward as Earth's chosen representative. She was small compared to the alien, but her voice was strong and clear. "Earth thanks the consortium for this historic meeting. We have many questions about our new place in the galaxy." Quolt's mouth curved in what might have been a smile. "All developing species have questions. We are here to guide you through this transition." In the back of the room, Dr. Tae-won Park fidgeted nervously. Director Ji-young Kim had insisted he attend as a scientific advisor, but he felt out of place among diplomats. His mind kept returning to the energy sphere hidden beneath Antarctica, the very technology that had attracted the aliens' attention. After the formal speeches, He-jin led Quolt and two other alien representatives to a smaller meeting room. Tae-won followed, along with Defense Minister Young-ho Lee and 5 other human officials. "Your technological progress has been remarkable," Quolt said once they were seated. "Particularly your recent energy innovations." Young-ho's expression remained neutral, but Tae-won noticed his hand tighten around his pen. "We have made some modest advances in clean energy," He-jin replied carefully. "Modest?" One of the other aliens, who had introduced himself as Science Observer Pelter, made a clicking sound. "Our scans detected quantum manipulation technology that most species don't develop until they've been spacefaring for centuries." The room fell silent. Tae-won felt sweat forming on his forehead. "Your scans must be mistaken," Young-ho said evenly. "Earth is still largely dependent on fossil fuels and basic renewable energy." Quolt's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Perhaps we could tour your research facilities? As a gesture of good faith between new friends." "Of course," He-jin said with a diplomatic smile. "We would be happy to show you our solar farms and fusion research centers." "We are particularly interested in your Antarctic facilities," Pelter said. Tae-won nearly dropped his tablet. "How did they know?" Young-ho stepped in smoothly. "Antarctica houses climate research stations from several nations. They're quite isolated and difficult to access. Perhaps another location would be more convenient for our guests?" Later that evening, in a secure room swept for listening devices, Earth's Leadership Council gathered in emergency session. "They know about Prometheus," Ji-young said bluntly. "The question is how much they know and what they intend to do about it." "Their technology is far beyond ours," Tae-won admitted. "Their ships can travel faster than light. They have weapons we can't even understand." Young-ho paced the room. "But they're being careful. They could have simply taken what they wanted. Instead, they're playing diplomatic games." "They're afraid," suggested He-jin. "Our discovery shouldn't be possible for humans at our stage of development. They're worried about what else we might be capable of." The next day, Quolt requested a private meeting with He-jin. Against security advice, she agreed to meet him in the Yun Gardens. "Your people are hiding something powerful," Quolt said without preamble. "The consortium has protocols for dealing with potentially destabilizing technologies in the hands of developmentally immature species." He-jin raised an eyebrow. "And who decides which species are mature enough?" "Those with proven stability. Those who have overcome warfare and resource competition. Those who have existed in the galactic community for millennia without causing harm. Not humans, in other words." Quolt's expression hardened. The technology you are developing in Antarctica could destroy solar systems if mishandled. The consortium cannot allow such risks. So this isn't a diplomatic mission at all, Heijin said. It's an inspection before confiscation. We prefer to call it protective custody. For everyone's safety, including Earth's. Unknown to either of them, a small drone recorded their conversation from the branches of a nearby tree. Within an hour, Young-ho and Ji-young were watching the footage in a secure bunker. At least we know where we stand, Young-ho said grimly. They want our technology, and they'll take it by force if necessary. Ji-young nodded. Then we need to be ready. Accelerate the defense integration project. If they want what we have, they'll discover that humans don't surrender their secrets easily. In Antarctica, the energy sphere pulsed brighter than ever as engineers worked day and night to harness its power for Earth's protection. The countdown to confrontation had begun. Dr. Subin Yoon stared at his bank account balance on his phone screen. 0. Again. He swiped to another app where his sister's medical bills were displayed, 450 million won for experimental treatment. Money he didn't have. He looked around the Antarctic Research Facility's cafeteria. His colleagues chatted and ate, unaware of his desperation. As one of the junior researchers on Project Prometheus, Subin had access to valuable information but not enough authority to be closely watched. Dr. Yoon? You have a call. A security officer stood at his table. Line 3 in the communications room. Subin frowned. Personal calls were routed to their private quarters. He walked to the communications room, picked up the secure line, and nearly dropped the phone when he heard the voice. Dr. Yoon. I represent parties interested in your research. We can help your sister. Subin's heart pounded. Who is this? How do you know about my sister? Someone who can transfer 500 million won to your account today. All we need is information. 3 days later, Subin sat alone in his lab, a small data drive hidden in his palm. The security cameras had a 5-minute blind spot during shift changes. Just enough time. He copied the quantum stabilization formulas and basic schematics. Not the complete technology, he told himself. Just enough to pay for Gina's treatment. The data uploaded to an encrypted server. An hour later, his phone pinged with a banking notification. The money had arrived. In orbit around Earth, a sleek black ship detached from the larger alien diplomatic vessel. Its hull absorbed radar and light, making it nearly invisible. Inside, 4 mercenaries from 3 different alien species checked their equipment. Remember, no casualties, the commander, a reptilian being called Krez, instructed. The consortium wants this quiet. His pilot, Vax, laughed. Primitives with barely functional satellites? They won't even know we were there. The stealth ship entered Earth's atmosphere at night, its trajectory taking it over uninhabited ocean toward Antarctica. Their target, the secret facility housing the impossible human technology. Energy signature confirmed, Vax said. Matches the data from our informant. Krez nodded. Begin descent. At the Antarctic facility, Security Chief Hyunwoo Kang was reviewing overnight reports when an alert flashed on his screen. A new defense system, only installed last week, had detected something approaching. Unidentified aircraft approaching from Sector 7, he announced over the facility's comm system. All personnel to security stations. The response was immediate. Scientists rushed to secure their research while security teams mobilized. Director Ji-young Kim appeared at Hyunwoo's side. Is it them? She asked simply. Unknown, but it's using technology that shouldn't exist on Earth. Stealth capabilities beyond anything we have. Ji-young's expression hardened. Activate Aegis protocol. Beneath the ice, hidden defense systems powered up. The energy sphere's power was channeled into weapons that had been theoretical until 3 months ago. Aboard their ship, the alien mercenaries were surprised by sudden warnings blaring across their control panels. They've detected us. Vax shouted, hands flying over controls. How is that possible? Krez grabbed his weapon. Continue approach. We still have the element of surprise. The stealth ship landed half a kilometer from the facility's main entrance. The mercenaries deployed quickly, using personal cloaking devices to move unseen across the ice. Their defenses are primitive, Krez said as they reached the outer door. Bypass the lock. Inside the facility, Hyunwoo watched the security feed. Despite the aliens' cloaking technology, the new sensors showed them clearly. For intruders at the main entrance, he reported. Let them in, Ji-young ordered calmly. Director? Let them in, then seal all interior doors. I want to know what they're after. The aliens were surprised when the door opened easily. They moved through the entrance hall, scanning for human guards. Too easy, the team's technician muttered. They advanced quickly until reaching the research level. Suddenly, heavy doors slammed shut around them, trapping them in a corridor. It's a trap! Vax yelled, firing his weapon at the nearest door. The energy blast dissipated harmlessly against the reinforced material. In the security center, Hyunwoo and Ji-young watched the aliens panic. They're trying to signal their ship, a technician reported. Ji-young nodded. Allow the transmission. Then activate the pulse. Outside, the alien ship received a frantic message from the team inside. As the pilot prepared for emergency extraction, a wave of energy expanded from the facility. The ship's systems failed instantly, sending it crashing onto the ice. In orbit, the diplomatic vessel lost contact with its covert team. Before the aliens could react, the transmission from the fallen ship reached them, carrying clear images of the failed heist and the technology used to stop it. Across the galaxy, the message spread rapidly. The humans had not only discovered advanced energy manipulation, they had already weaponized it. In his quarters, Subin watched the emergency lights flashing. He deleted the banking app from his phone, but the guilt remained. He had revealed Earth's greatest secret to the stars. In the quiet town of Millbrook, tensions were rising like steam from a boiling kettle. Detective Sarah Moore stood by the window, her fingers tracing the cold glass as she watched the street below. The case that had consumed her for weeks was about to take a dangerous turn. Jack Thompson sat across from her, his face a map of worry and determination. They had uncovered something big. Something that connected the recent string of mysterious disappearances to a network far more complex than anyone had imagined. 3 days earlier, a young witness had come forward with a fragment of information that changed everything. A black SUV, seen multiple times near the abandoned warehouse on the edge of town. The same warehouse that had been just another forgotten building now whispered dark secrets. Sarah pulled out a stack of photographs. Blurry images, but clear enough to show patterns. Connected dots that formed a web of connections too precise to be coincidental. Each photo represented a missing person, young professionals, all successful, all disappeared without a trace. We're close, Jack muttered, spreading the photos across the table. His coffee went cold, forgotten as their investigation consumed every moment of concentration. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. A small piece of evidence. A phone number scribbled on a torn receipt found in the last victim's apartment. When traced, it led to a shell company that connected to something much larger. Night was falling, casting long shadows across the detective's office. Sarah knew they were being watched. Someone didn't want this investigation to continue. Anonymous warnings had started arriving, first as cryptic messages, then as more direct threats. Their primary suspect was a local businessman named Robert Grayson. On the surface, he was a respected community leader, donations to local charities, support for community projects. But beneath that polished exterior, something sinister lurked. Jack had discovered financial records that suggested Grayson was moving massive amounts of money through complicated international accounts. Money that seemed to appear and disappear like smoke, leaving no clear trail. The plan was simple but dangerous. They would set a trap. Use the information they had gathered to draw out the real culprits, hoping to catch them in the act. Every move had to be calculated, every step precise. Sarah checked her weapon, a habit developed over years of dangerous investigations. Jack reviewed their evidence one more time, his hand steady but his eyes betraying a hint of nervous energy. They knew the risks. This wasn't just another case. This was personal now. Each missing person represented a life interrupted, a family waiting, hoping for answers. The warehouse would be their stage. The place where everything would come together or fall apart. Years of experience had taught Sarah that moments like these could change everything in an instant. As night completely embraced the town, Sarah and Jack prepared. Their backup was minimal, 2 trusted officers who understood the complexity of the situation. No room for mistakes, no margin for error. The clock struck midnight. Outside, a cold wind whispered through empty streets. Something was about to break, a moment of truth that would reveal the dark secrets hidden beneath Millbrook's peaceful surface. Their breath was steady. Their resolve unshakable. Whatever waited in the shadows of that old warehouse would soon be brought into the light. The investigation that had consumed months was about to reach its climax. And nothing would stop them from finding the truth. In the distance, a car engine started. The game was about to begin.